Hello, I'm here to discuss findings, conclusions, and implications for practice. Please hold your applause until I'm finished with my part of the presentation. The data analysis revealed strengths and weaknesses for the Ronald McDonald House Learning Organization. We evaluated both archival documents, 22 of them, as well as delivered a survey. So we have survey data analysis and the archival document analysis. Each of the 22 archival documents was examined and assigned 1 point each in each of the 4 categories if the value was present. This was vision, culture, strategy, and structure. For vision, it was 12, culture was 11, structure was 13, a higher point count was better, indicating RMH is strongly aligned with learning organization theory in those areas. In the strategy area, there was a lower score, 4, reflecting lower evidence of a focus on learning for all members of the organization. The survey data analysis also revealed strengths and opportunities for improvement. There was a scale score from 1 to 6, with 1 being agree and 6 being disagree. Overall, the data indicated most volunteers felt RMH was a strong learning organization, and they mostly agreed with all. The standard deviations were high, which indicated that some of the respondents who disagreed with the statement may have misunderstood the scale where 1 was agree and 6 was disagree, because their corresponding answers to the open-ended questions were answered in a positive manner. The data indicated volunteers felt the importance of a learning organization was understood throughout RMH, and that management's support of the vision were both strengths according to the survey. The organization learns from failures and successes, indicating that mistakes are tolerated and that there is a commitment to continuous learning in the pursuit of improving service. The highest mean scores in the study included the climate supporting and recognizing the importance of learning opportunities. Remember, in this case, a high score is not a positive finding. This highest mean score revealed that some individuals don't feel they're being rewarded for their individual work and teamwork in learning and helping. We'll move to the conclusions and discussions area. RMH has the dimensions of all 4 of the aspects found within a learning organization: vision, culture, strategy, and structure. For our first research questions, how do the learning opportunities reflect the organization's vision? We found this in both survey questions and archival documents, that there was a strong support, strong indication that learning and opportunities are supported. One example is their dedication to improving services based on feedback from frontline volunteers. How do the learning opportunities within RMH reflect the organization's culture? A learning organization facilitates and encourages learning by the membership. This is done formally and informally. This is an area in which, according to our survey results and archival data, RMH is already excelling. They have ongoing professional development centered on increasing staff and volunteer learning, and there are regular award ceremonies honoring the volunteers. How do the learning opportunities within Ronald McDonald House reflect the strategy? It can be difficult to successfully transform into a learning organization, and this requires an organization to have a strategy, and this can be difficult. This is the one area where both the archival documents and the survey data indicated there are opportunities for improvement. It may be a learning organization. They are lacking in the strategy area, instead relying on the vision and culture to drive the development. It's not surprising, because it's a difficult aspect for a learning organization to achieve. And secondly, the organization is a relatively new one, and they haven't seemed to identify this as a formal goal. Then how do the learning opportunities reflect the organization's structure? Ronald McDonald House has the flat hierarchy focused on teams and collaboration, absence of communication barriers, teams focused around specific goals and outcomes, and dedication to collaboration within and without. The implication and recommendation for practice. This research study has indicated that RMH is really quite a good model to show how a learning organization functions. The vision, culture, structure, and strategies have proven to be effective in recruiting and the continuous learning of all volunteers. The overall vision, mission, culture are in place, the structure, and the one recommendation comes from the strategy piece, and it addresses the perception of volunteers on how RMH rewards people and teams for learning and helping others learn. There could be a variety of reasons, but this really does require further study to perhaps a further survey research to understand how volunteers would best prefer to receive rewards for continuous learning and working, and what their perception is of where the gap exists now with the organization. RMH really is an excellent example. Everything in this organization revolves around continuous learning. It may not always be formal, but it's definitely occurring every single day, and they're a model that could be used in other organizations similar to them, including other Ronald McDonald houses. Thank you. Good evening. I'm going to address findings, conclusions, and implications for practice. In the findings section, data analysis revealed strengths and weaknesses for RMH as a learning organization. The archival document evaluation tool examined 22 documents and scored them in each of the 4 categories of vision, culture, strategy, and structure if it was represented in the document. The tool indicated that in 3 areas, vision, culture, and structure, RMH is strongly aligned with learning organization theory. In strategy, the score of 4 reflected lower evidence of focus on learning for all members of the organization. The results of the survey data analysis also revealed strengths and weaknesses. The scale score went from 1 to 6, with 1 being agree and 6 being disagree. Overall, most volunteers indicated they felt RMH was a strong learning organization, although the standard deviations were all high. This may indicate some of the respondents misunderstood the scale, particularly because the corresponding open-ended question was answered in a positive manner towards the learning organization. The data indicated volunteers felt the importance of being a learning organization was understood throughout RMH, and management supports the vision of a learning organization. Both of these are strengths. The organization learns from failures and successes, indicating mistakes were tolerated, and a commitment to continuous learning in the pursuit of improving service also were identified as strengths. The highest mean score in this study included the climate supporting and recognizing the importance of learning. This revealed some individuals did not feel they were rewarded for their work individually and in teams for learning and helping others to learn. For the conclusion and discussion sections, RMH has dimensions of all 4 of the aspects, vision, culture, strategy, and structure, found within learning organizations. The research question addressing vision was a strength. There are several reasons to create a shared vision. 2 of the questions on the survey related to the vision of the learning organization, and the archival document review showed more than half the documents had identified vision components. One example is RMH's dedication to improving their services based on feedback from their frontline volunteers. For the culture question, organizational culture encourages members of the organization to learn according to Marquardt. Learners are considered heroes by the organization, honored at awards ceremonies, and informally by leaders, etc. There were survey questions that addressed this area, and the archival review identified culture in half the reviewed documents. This is an area where RMH is already excelling. They have ongoing professional development centered on increasing the learning of staff and volunteers, and there are regular awards ceremonies honoring volunteers. The question addressing strategy. According to Marquardt, it can be difficult to successfully transform a learning organization in part due to the need to have a strategy. There were questions in the volunteer survey, and the archival document review found only 4 documents had aspects of strategy. This is one area where RMH could show improvement. They are a learning organization, but they lack the organizational strategy and instead appear to be relying on vision, culture, and structure to continue their development as a learning organization. This is not surprising. First, it's one of the most difficult aspects for a learning organization to achieve. Second, RMH has not identified this as a formal goal. And third, they're a relatively new organization with most of the aspects of a learning organization already in place. The structure research question is also a strength. All learning organizations have some similarity within their structure, a flat hierarchy focused on teams and collaboration, absence of communication barriers, teams focused on specific goals and outcomes, and other things, according to Marquardt. The survey and document review both found strong aspects within this learning organization. They have a flat hierarchy with one administrator and a high percentage of volunteer to staff. The findings suggest the structure is already well suited to being an effective learning organization. And the implications for practice. This research study of RMH and its volunteer program has shown how a learning organization functions. The vision, culture, structure, and strategies used within the organization have proved to be effective in the continuous learning for its members. All 4 aspects of the learning subsystem are found within the mission statement for RMH. One possible recommendation for RMH comes from the quantitative portion of the data analysis. The statement which addressed the perception of volunteers on how RMH rewards people and teams for learning and helping others learn had the highest score, which means volunteers did not completely agree with the statement. This could be due to several reasons. Some may not volunteer enough hours to be recognized. Perhaps administration has a misperception on how most people would like to be rewarded for learning. Some volunteers may not have understood the statement or perhaps felt learning happens only in the classroom. We recommend further study to ask volunteers how they would prefer to receive rewards for continuous learning and working, and to find out why people did not feel as positively about this aspect of RMH as the other vision, culture, and structure aspects. Excuse me. RMH is a great example for other organizations of how a learning organization should function. Everything the organization does revolves around continuous learning to improve guest support. It may not always be formal at RMH, but learning occurs every day. Other volunteer organizations, including other Ronald McDonald houses, could use this example to structure and shape their learning organizations. Thank you.